Have you ever found yourself wishing you knew exactly how the MBA evaluation process works and how the MBA AdComs determine who's a competitive candidate? Well, you no longer have to rely on guesswork. Let me break down the evaluation process for your dream MBA programs and give you what you need to know about what makes some candidates competitive and others not so much. Let's pull the curtain together. Now, here is what I want you to imagine. Imagine that it's a crisp September day in New England. It's just after the round one MBA application deadline. The MBA admissions office is brimming with activity as they process the MBA applications and divide the files for review. The files may be split by alpha or by region or really randomly, but your application eventually ends up in a pile, a digital pile. Imagine that the reviewers are making their way through the pile, and now it's your turn. Someone is about to delve into your MBA application. What do you think they're going to look at first? Do you care to guess? With almost no exception, the very first thing that a reviewer will look at is your resume. This should come as no surprise. Consider the essence of an MBA resume. It's a concise, written summary of your educational qualifications, previous employment, and some of your personal interests too. Essentially, your resume captures your identity as an MBA candidate. It's like a captivating movie trailer of your life's movie. Next, the admissions reviewer will delve into your hard statistics, GMAT, GRE, the results of English language tests, if you're an international candidate and that's applicable to you. Some of these statistics will be listed in your resume, and it's a good idea to do that, especially if they're impressive. Once the reader has a sense of your overall background and trajectory and your hard statistics, they're going to turn their attention to your essays, followed by the data forms, the fields where you had to fill out all sorts of information about yourself. And ultimately, although the order might vary from school to school or even from reviewer to reviewer, they're going to peruse your letters of recommendation. Now, let's consider what it means for a picture of a really competitive candidate to emerge as the reader moves through the application pieces. In your resume, you want the reader to see a clear picture of your journey as a leader. Let me repeat this one more time because it's impossible to overstate the importance of thinking of your MBA resume this way. The most important takeaway an admissions reviewer should have from your resume is about your journey as a leader. Now, I know that as you're listening to this, you have so many questions. You may be thinking, but Petia, wait, I'm not leading anyone yet. I don't even have direct reports. Or you might be worried that you weren't involved in your student government as an undergraduate student. No need to panic. Leadership comes in an infinite number of forms. It can be as simple as taking initiative. It can be as personal as making a deliberate effort to create an inclusive environment at work. You don't have to have invented YouTube or TikTok in order to demonstrate the kind of leadership that can land you into a top MBA program. Now, let's get back to how you should think about painting a picture of a really competitive candidate throughout your materials when it comes to that first round of review. The MBA is a professional degree delivered through a rigorous quantitative curriculum. Management as a science is very often quantitatively rigorous. So if you look at the curriculum of any MBA program, you're going to find courses in accounting, statistics, economics. So when schools consider MBA candidates, one of the very first things they assess is your academic ability. That ability is measured by assessing your undergraduate transcripts, but also the tests, most typically the GMAT and the GRE. What this means for you is that in that first round of review, there should be no substantial doubt about your academic ability. Let me state this one more time because it's a really important point. The first review of your full application should leave no substantial doubt about your likelihood to be successful in your dream MBA program. Now, when I say this, I'm not suggesting that the only way to accomplish this is to have above average GMAT or GRE. Absolutely not. And in another video, I will talk about the weight of all the MBA application components and how to understand the role they play in the MBA admissions evaluation. But let's continue to follow our admissions reader here. And let's assume that you have done a really good job removing any doubt about your academic ability. and your ability to succeed as an MBA student. Now the MBA admissions reviewer is reading your essays. They've seen your movie trailer, and now they're getting to the good stuff. The interesting, the unique, the exciting stuff. They're seeing you in action. From the way you choose to answer the essay prompts to the stories you tell in them, your MBA essays are where your data really comes to life. Now the reader is forming an opinion. Do they like the main character in the movie? Can they see you as someone they want to invite to their community? Finally, with the letters of recommendation, the character in our story here, the MBA admissions reviewer, is getting to yet another really important part. They're looking for external validation and confirmation of what you claimed about yourself. And they're also looking for even more nuance. A competitive candidate will have letters of recommendation that confirm that they're the type of leader they self-describe themselves as, and also how they stack compared to their peers. So what needs to happen for you to be considered a really competitive candidate? With the first review, your goal is to get a hearing. Getting a hearing is what I call being invited to an MBA admissions interview and being able to plead your case. Now, you may have heard me talk about the difference between evaluation and selection. Evaluation determines who's admissible. Selection determines who is desirable, who's going to get an invitation to join the class. The first application review has very much to do with evaluation. Now, in order for you to become a candidate who gets admitted, you'll need to be even more knowledgeable about what you can do to have your evaluation successfully progress to the interview stage and then eventually to receiving an offer of admission. How can you do this? Join me for this month's webinar to learn who will be a competitive MBA candidate this year. You'll learn what was new and surprising in this most recent MBA admissions cycle, and you're going to learn about all the changes to the MBA admissions landscape that you need to be aware of in order to successfully get admitted to a top MBA program this year. I look forward to seeing you there.